all our viewers, and welcome to Industry Online Forum for eLearning by PLDT Enterprise Smart EPLDT, and together with our partners, Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities, ASUS, CloudSwift, Logitech, Microsoft, and Google. I'm Corinne Zablan, your host and moderator this afternoon. It's been more than a year since the academe sector was disrupted by the pandemic. And this afternoon, we will take a look at how far we have come since then and discuss back to school plans, setup, and new learning technologies and platforms that will empower our students and teachers as we begin yet another school year, but this time well armed with the right tools and solutions that address everyday challenges of students and teachers studying and working from home. This session was made especially with the students and teachers' needs in mind as we, together with our partners, will be giving away special raffle items that will prepare you for an unbreakable learning. We will be giving away Samsung tablet with S Pen, Apple iPad, and smart prepaid call cards. ASUS will be raffling their Chromebook C223 laptops with router, business care kits, which includes jacket, face masks, face shields, 10 EOS laptop bags, and Zen Power power banks. CloudSwift will also be giving away 2 Microsoft role-based certificate exam vouchers worth US $90 in a 2-week free virtual labs POC, while Google will be raffling off 20 notebooks, pens, and 5 virtual cardboard kits. You might also win Logitech's Brio webcam, Zone wired headset, and Nike compression shirts. Finally, Microsoft has prepared 10 jackets, face masks, and tumblers for our lucky viewers. All you have to do is participate in the panel discussion by keying in your questions in the link from the chat box or by signing in our website using the QR code that will be flashed later on during the program. So I hope you're ready for today's program as we tackle relevant topics, strategies, and innovation together with the country's technology leaders and industry experts driving powerful change and growth in the academe sector. To officially start the program, let's all welcome on screen PLDT Enterprise Assistant Vice President and Corporate Relationship Management Head for Academe and FMCG, Mr. Dick Perez.
Thank you, Corinne, for that wonderful introduction and a pleasant afternoon to all our attendees. 2020 has been a year unlike any other. A global pandemic, the deepest global recession since World War II, and other troubling events took place. While virtually all sectors of the economy were affected, education systems around the world were severely hit, with more than 188 countries forced to close schools, including the Philippines. While it's been a year marred with tragedy and heartache, by necessity, education innovations and new approaches have emerged out of the turmoil and are presenting real opportunities to transform education. The year 2020 brought a lot of unfortunate events, which left educational institutions scrambling for ways to continue school even remotely. Just like in any crisis, however, the pandemic did not pack itself purely with challenges. It has presented opportunities and opened doors to many technological creativities. EdTech pivot was forced to everyone. We have to embrace it if we want to survive. How this will play out will depend on how we capitalize on our learnings last year. As our chairman MVP used to say, pivot or perish. Those who will resist change will be left behind and will eventually find it difficult to thrive. The silver lining in this disruption is that as a sector, we did not adhere to the dogmas of the past. Instead, the entire education sector came together and thought anew and acted anew. School leaders, school administrators, and teachers alike rose to the occasion and adapted to the need of the hour. Practices which were previously considered impossible have now become possible due to the quick and concerted efforts by educationists who seized the opportunity to find new ways to make learning possible and managing to keep children and parents positively motivated and engaged all through the year. Now let's talk about some of the edtech trends that we can feel can help institutions further their 2020 initiatives. Basic to content delivery last year was connectivity and formation of the learning management system. But it does not stop there, and it should not stop there. Schools must continue to innovate, innovate, and innovate. Doors are open. We have to rush through it. Pre-pandemic, cloud solutions, machine learning, and the Internet of Things were some of the educational technology highlights. However, virtual classroom lorded over these technologies last year. The pandemic has forced the educational institutions to change the manner by which learning materials and content are delivered to the students. Good news is, students are receptive to technology and can easily adapt to any digital platform. The competition in the education industry lies on which school have the more interesting and engaging digital platform. There were so many learnings last year. Students, while missing interaction and personal connections, have enjoyed the flexibility of a remote option. Staff has responded positively to space for an improved work-life balance, and faculty have been surprised at their appreciation for and commandeering of many features offered within learning technologies. Distance learning became the top 2020 educational trend overnight because of the rapid spread of COVID-19 and school closures. This led to a rising demand for online educational platforms. In e-learning, learners just soak in knowledge through reading or viewing content. It changes the way education is delivered. Also, many e-learning courses include animation, podcasts, videos that create multimodal and practical learning experience. The last point is, although e-learning has been around for a long time, it is staying green and continuously developing. Educators are using advantages of technology to make online learning more effective. That's why more and more online and blended learning courses are produced nowadays. Videos are more efficient in capturing and keeping the attention of the student than reading materials. For example, through demonstration, this tool is able to make easier the comprehension of a complex concept. It creates a greater commitment on the part of the student, contributing to the debate and assimilation of the content. Through the use of image and sound, video classes contribute to building a better relationship between teacher and students. The use of video classes in distance learning offers many benefits for the student and contribute to an effective learning. In addition, video is a trend and will continue for years to come, along, of course, with other resources such as the microlearning, storytelling, and games. Gamification must be injected in the course. Let's face it, students, young people, they all want to have fun. Student engagement is a real puzzle. But why gamify? First, there are too many distractions. Our homes, while comfortable, has many sources of distractions. Dogs are barking, someone's knocking at the door, the baby's crying, a toddler is playing, etc. Second, students are busy learners. Students are equally busy compared to previous years where they attend physical classes. The modern learner is a busy person who is stressed from information overload with just 1% of a typical week or very little time, if any, for formal training and development. And lastly, young people are basically impatient. When faced with a learning or performance problem, the modern learners look for quick and easy solutions by searching for answers online. These are some of the reasons why we need to gamify. We need to be creative in fostering student engagement. Gamification in e-learning can be remarkably effective. A study from the University of Colorado found that users of gamification of learning scored higher in fact and skills-based assessments of learning. Retention also improved when gamification was used. Gamification also offers a learning journey to have fun as you learn. The learners will surely welcome it. It is not easy to integrate this to the LMS or lesson plans, but the fact remains that the success of any learning strategy is determined by the effectiveness of its application. If you craft a gamification concept that can capture and retain the learner's attention, challenge and engage them, ensure they complete the journey, plus teach them, you will have a high impact training that will indeed deliver the desired impact. From the key learnings in 2020, where several new educational practices saw the light of day, outlining a possible blueprint for tomorrow's education. PLDT will be with you every step of the way. We will handhold you as you traverse the road towards a more sophisticated and curated digital educational solutions. We will all win this. After all, we are unbreakable. Thank you.
The difference between mankind and other species is our ingenuity. Throughout history, we've learned to invent and reinvent for the better. From the way we learn, transact, consume, care, and serve, adversity allows us to transform. Sure, industries will live and die. Life will change, but it beckons us to begin again, to live again. Just open your eyes and see.
Thank you, Dick, for that keynote. That certainly sets the tone for this interesting session ahead of us. If you have questions for Dick, please do key them in the link from the chat box, and you might be one of the lucky winners who will take home our awesome prizes. Our next speaker is the president of the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities, PACU, one of the oldest associations of private schools in the country. PACU has been consistently pushing advocacies that promote delivery of quality education and assist in crafting policies that will provide for equitable government support to private institutions. He is also the president of the University of Perpetual Help System, DALTA, where he initiated a university development program through improvements in facilities, faculty, curricula, teaching tools, and other quality indicators. When COVID-19 pandemic hit, the university had to find ways to continue learning and teaching in a safe environment, and Dr. Tamayo introduced improvements to the university's flexible learning options, partly through inspiration from the PACU members. The university adopted new learning technologies such as learning management system, robotics, and various simulation software. Here to share the stories and learnings of resiliency, digital transformation, and strategies, and a look at the future of learning in the country, please welcome President of the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities, Dr. Anthony Jose Tamayo.
Distinguished speakers in the IT and telecommunications industries, fellow educators, my colleagues in the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities, or PACU, friends, a very pleasant good afternoon to everyone. It is my distinct honor and privilege to represent PACU in PLDT's online forum for e-learning. Let me first begin my talk with telling you more about PACU, the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities. It was established in 1932, so we are already 89 years old. We are the oldest association of private schools in the country, with 195 members and around 852,000 students enrolled. PACU aims to contribute to nation building through transformative higher education in a deregulated environment, imbued with a global perspective and anchored on social responsibility and cooperation. Through the years, PACU has continued to be at the forefront of Philippine education. Among the PACU member schools, 37 are autonomous, while 9 are deregulated. Then came the year 2020. The realities of the VUCA world, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, have severely affected our lives and our livelihood. Under this age of flux, we had to change the way we do things, how we work, and how we live. PACU and the Philippine higher education institutions started to reinvent education, changed business models, and courageously pushed for advocacies to make schools more agile, innovative, and responsive in the delivery of quality education during these disruptive times. It was a difficult journey for the academic sector. The biggest problem was to think of ways to deliver instruction to students. And there was no other choice but to shut down physical campuses and in-class learning and to rapidly shift to remote or online classes. Most schools found themselves not ready to implement online classes. Schools were forced to reevaluate how to use technology to deliver classes. In addition, teachers needed proper training so that they become more creative and innovative in designing and delivering instructions to students. Similar to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow 2.0 now has 5 layers, which shows digital needs is the equivalent of the 5th category of human needs, or in short, Wi-Fi or connectivity. Socioeconomic factors heightened the disparities. Equitable access to technology and connectivity became a key challenge. Both students and teachers have encountered problems in attending online classes due to unavailable or outdated gadgets, or intermittent connectivity, and no connectivity at all. Another pressing concern was student retention due to the financially challenged situation. Parents prefer to enroll their children in public schools or suspend schooling entirely. Schools were also constrained to reduce manpower because of the decreasing enrollment. In 2020, school administrators had no other choice but to make abrupt decisions and strategies to be able to deliver the needs of the students. Learning for 2020 resulted to refined or better innovation of strategies and practices to align schools to the needs of students in this present disruption. Today, almost everything can be done online. Schools implemented flexible learning classes, courses using laboratories shifted to virtual mode, simulation software began to appear in laboratory classes. Because of the current situation, schools opted to revise priorities and realign resources. The academic plans are made flexible, resilient, and disaster-ready. Investments in infrastructure, connectivity, and related training are done to achieve academic agility. Lastly, it cannot be overemphasized that as we live in an age of disruption, one key success factor for PACU was the weekly meetings of the presidents and other key stakeholders of the different schools. We met constantly, we shared our issues and best practices as we tried to cope with the pandemic. This paved the way for the member schools to develop their learning management systems and practices as they shifted abruptly from face-to-face or in-class to distance learning. Because in the end, learning had to continue. Like in 2020, what we will experience in the remaining part of year 2021 will still be flexible learning, as the situation on the ground differs from school to school and from location to location. Flexible learning will now be a constant option. Digital transformation on IT infrastructure shall be a need among educational institutions to strengthen their operations. Providing technological resources for connectivity and strong training of faculty and staff are expected to sustain service and excellence. Schools in the Philippines are currently using the hybrid model. The US introduced the HiFlex model. Schools may also adopt the HiFlex bimodal course. This model gives students a choice to attend either in person or online at their convenience. Schools shall invest heavily in digital infrastructure and on inclusive as well as equitable online learning experiences. Considering the current situation, schools may also approach the telcos as well as the government agencies and partners for affordable connectivity and gadgets, as well as software to be given to students, teachers, and the staff. In addition, schools should improve their crisis management and disaster readiness plans and implement data privacy policies for effective data surveillance. Amidst the pandemic, there are still good stories to tell. These experiences are stories and learnings of resiliency in the face of adversity and major technological disruption. At the onset of the disruption, there was difficulty to continue and sustain classes on the part of the teachers and the administration. But as the situation progresses, teachers and students were able to adopt and gradually embrace the disruption. For instance, if one were to look at the two latest issues of the PACU newsletters, there are a plethora of stories of situational adaptations, emphasizing the resilient character of students, even in dire situations, instances of kindness, sympathy, flexibility, and readiness to learn, made members of the educational community adjust to finish and deliver their work even in limited time. Universities have adhered and supported the Heal as One Act of the government by giving paramount importance to its academic community. In the spirit of solidarity, institutions offered assistance by reducing the school fees and implementing various work modalities such as work from home, the 9-to-5 cycle, skeletal forces, and the like, while still continuing school operations safely. Well, the setup of schools for this coming school year 2021-2022, of course, still largely depends on the community quarantine and the pandemic situation. Of course, other factors would be the preparedness of teachers, the availability of resources, and the like. But schools are getting ready for the return of students to their in-class setup. Well, as Chairman De Vera said, flexible learning options are a constant. So one of the flexible learning options could be blended or in-class, back to the in-class or face-to-face setup. So schools are getting ready for the return of students to that said setup. Educational institutions started to rethink, recreate, and retrofit their campus spaces for optional, limited, face-to-face classes, all guided by the IATF DOH in the form of the Joint Memorandum Circular Number 1, Series of 2021. Innovative solutions are introduced to enhance online monitoring and proctoring. Additional and upgraded simulation software and improved school infrastructure and reliable connectivity are also all essential for our future classrooms this coming school year 2021-2022. Aside from fast and stable internet, what students would expect this coming school year 2021-2022 would be more enhanced learning management systems and heavy use of data analytics and maybe even up to artificial intelligence. This is according to the Chronicle of Higher Education. But there's also one important aspect to note, which is according to Southern Florida experts, that what is key is still improved or enhanced student engagement, which should also be outcomes-based. Because no matter how good, because students are not here to master technology. Technology is here to help the teacher and the students engage with one another to reach the desired outcomes. In terms of readiness to return to school, it is highly dependent on the community quarantine and other situations in the ground. Because as we know, in a VUCA world, it is very unpredictable. However, since schools have already experienced at least 1.5 or around 2 years of disruption, they more or less have learned how to cope in this during this pandemic. So at present, institutions are now improving the retrofitting of their infrastructure in strict consideration and implementation of the health and safety protocols. As much as possible, the members of the school community are inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine and regularly undergoing RT-PCR testing. Well, the pandemic has posed many challenges, at the same time many learning opportunities. Schools have learned to adapt to the better normal. The members of the education community learned how to overcome and bridge the barriers in the fields of communication and technology. Schools understood that effective online learning and teaching depends more on building outcomes-based engagement than on mastering complicated technology. Technology is only the means, not the end. While the use of technology is inevitable and helpful, it must respect and promote humanity and learning. This is one of the biggest challenges that should be engaged by the education sector as well as their families. Chairman Prospero De Vera said, bringing back face-to-face classes will only expose educational stakeholders to the same risk if another pandemic or disruption comes in, and would have wasted all the investments in technology, in teacher training, in retrofitting our facilities. There is no going back as CHED adopts flexible learning as the norm. In fact, there's never been a time in higher education to reach more people than right now. Schools should now prioritize quality education while embracing the present disruption and reinvent themselves during and beyond the present pandemic. Schools should exemplify and communicate courage without losing hope. Once again, thank you PLDT for inviting me today. To everyone, thank you very much for listening and always stay safe.
Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Tamayo. Truly, your innovative strategy enables thousands of students to have an unbreakable learning experience. Again, to all our viewers, you can win our amazing prizes this afternoon. All you have to do is participate in the panel discussion later by keying in your questions via the link that will be provided in the chat box or by signing up in the website using the QR codes that will be flashed in the next segments. So, get your phones ready and let's dive right into the suite of solutions specially curated for the academe sector. Discover how these technologies can elevate the overall learning experience of our students and teachers. Please welcome PLDT Enterprise Assistant Vice President for Enterprise Strategic Solutions and Head of Education, Mr. John Combalicer.
Good afternoon, Dr. Tamayo, Mr. Dick Perez, panelists, and guests. The COVID-19 pandemic affected many industries. Some lost their job. Some are underemployed. Including those affected are the parents and family members who are supporting learners to go to school. The education sector is one of the biggest hard hit with low numbers of enrollment in private school and school closure. It has been on an uphill climb to steadily provide quality learning experiences to their student and teacher. PLDT is here to help in making education resilient for the next normal, to your road to unbreakable learning. The road to the next normal is very challenging, but in order for us to come up with a better solution, we need to understand the current situation. Allow us to share with you the current education landscape based on the research by our PLDT Enterprise Analytics team gathered from local and global study. Last April, the Philippines already reached 1 million COVID cases, and with only 0.3% are vaccinated. This data matters because it will help in the decision-making process for the Philippine education. And one of the containment and mitigation measures across Southeast Asia is the implementation of mass testing, contact tracing, travel ban, and school closure. But the Philippines is left with one of the longest lockdown period in the world. Our Southeast Asian neighbors are already doing face-to-face classes. In Cambodia alone, the government created tax incentive to the educational institution. And in the Philippines, there are now talks to reopen school for face-to-face learning by August of this year. And CHED is also allowing limited face-to-face classes among medical health programs for selected schools. Almost all schools implemented online or blended learning through platforms. It has become the common strategy to mitigate the impact of school closure. According to the World Economic Forum report, these mitigation strategies have their own pros and cons, such as access to reliable connectivity, learning issues, and limited access of some students to digital education modalities. But we also need to consider its benefits, such as continuous learning amidst the pandemic, lower cost of education versus in-person experience, student-based learning, and more room for integration of digital engagement strategies. And this is further reinforced by the Asian Development Bank report that while gains have been made in universalizing access to elementary education and other levels of education, the pace of improvement in learning outcome has been very slow in order to convert impressive gains in access and enrollment into long-term gains. There is a critical need to address the lags and deficit in learning outcomes. This gap must be addressed by improving teacher technology skill set, developing high-quality content, transformation from traditional to digital learning experience, and most importantly, bridging the learning gaps in digital and science attainment. And as per Mr. Dick Perez mentioned, there are technology trends in the education sector that can help in addressing the gaps, like e-learning, video-assisted learning, gamification, blockchain, AR/VR, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. PLDT has always been in the forefront in helping the education sector to build a more resilient learning experience for an unbreakable response to the next normal. Together with our global educational partner, we build the PLDT Unbreakable Education Solution. The Educate solutions from Microsoft, Google, and CloudSweep help improve the learning experience. The Enable solutions from ASUS, Logitech, Smart BizLoad, Smart Bro, and PLDT Beyond Fiber enable reliable access to continuous learning. The Protect solutions from ePLDT Cybersecurity, Data Privacy Consulting, Height Vision, and Smart Time Free provide protection from your digital world to your physical presence. And our Innovate solution from Paymaya, Smart IoT, and Smart 5G that gives you access to the future of contactless transaction and the power of high-speed access to real-time, meaningful engagement. Educate, enable, protect, and innovate. Transforming your future for digital learning experience. According to Mr. Nathan Davidson, in the digital age, educators should change their request of students from send it to me to share it with me. And PLDT is here to share the best of global educational solutions to help address the challenges of delivering high-quality education by sharing the power of technology and connectivity to bring out the best in you. And to share the best of Microsoft Education solution that keeps educator, student, and families connected, we have the Microsoft Philippine Public Sector Directress, Joanna Rodriguez.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you to the PLDT and the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities for this privilege to be one of your resource speakers for today. We come together to reimagine education for the future, rising to the challenge of ensuring that our schools and education institutions run on secure and reliable infrastructure for teaching and learning, and more importantly, helping the entire education ecosystem transform and innovate to effectively educate during these unprecedented times. We are all literally experiencing an IT revolution unfold in real time around the globe. And as public sector director, working with a team that deals with government, healthcare, public safety, national security, and of course, education, we have not only been witness, but also an active and willing participant to government agencies embracing technology to keep our institutions open and functioning during this pandemic. As we all slowly emerge into a new digital economy and try to figure out how to function in this new normal, we continue to see technology addressing three objectives. First, protecting public health and providing data as basis for government decision making, ensuring that the deluge of information from all sources around the globe are honed to generate meaningful insights that will support the right actions and interventions for our country. Second, sustaining the economy and sustaining schools and teaching and sustaining government work. Our products like Azure, Microsoft Teams, and Office 365 have been indispensable. And in a crisis with limited and unpredictable assets, real time communication and collaboration in getting the right resources to the right place at the right time have been very critical. Finally, sustaining trust, protecting privacy, and ensuring security against disinformation, as more and more we really see that as a society, we will continue to rely on technology to transact with businesses, to receive services from government, to provide teaching and learning, and maybe just as important, maintaining human connection. Teachers, parents, and students are now coming together to use technology in new and remarkable ways at a scale that we have never seen happen in the Philippines before. And over the past year, Microsoft has been very busy in working with various education institutions, both public and private, with the goal of helping schools adapt to the new normal. We have been working closely with partners such as the PLDT through the Learn As One program and providing schools with strong and robust internet connectivity bundled with Microsoft collaboration tools. And so schools have now figured out how to conduct classes online, how to manage submission of homework and assignments, how to co-author documents and collaborate with each other, monitor student performance, and many, many more. How we continue to support the teachers and students is Microsoft's biggest mission, providing the right technology sets while fostering a culture that is accessible to people on the screen as it would be face to face, as we can somehow all expect that the culture of the classroom has forever been changed by COVID-19. One example that I find truly impactful is our partnership with the Department of Education. And last year, DepEd was faced with the challenge of potentially canceling graduation rights for senior high school students. But recognizing that graduating is a special milestone in every child and parent's life, DepEd and Microsoft created a graduation in a box built on Microsoft 365 to enable easily scalable and deployable virtual graduations. And so this resulted in many schools successfully being able to conduct commencement activities for thousands of students. However, this whole digital transformation and digital revolution may have kick-started for the Philippines, we see that this is going to empower many different industries in the future. And we at Microsoft remain committed to our partnership with PLDT and the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities in helping schools to rethink and reimagine teaching and learning, and ultimately fulfill our mission to empower every student and every teacher to achieve more. Thank you all again. Have a good day, and I look forward to our Q&A.
Thank you, Joanna. And here is Mary Manzano, the education lead from Google Philippines, to share the transformative technology solution that help kids learn at their own pace.
Hi, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Mary Manzano, and I'm the education lead for Google for Education in the Philippines. Education is at a time of unforeseen complexity, and for many schools, distance learning is not something they thought they would do or need to prepare for. There was no warning, we just had to act. And on top of that, educators are facing big challenges: low student engagement, data security threats, plagiarism, and disparate educational tools. Google for Education's goal is to empower learning anytime, everywhere. Wherever learning takes place, at school, at home, or a mix of the two, our portfolio of solutions have been designed to empower students to achieve their learning goals wherever they might be. We believe that no matter our backgrounds, everyone deserves access to great learning experiences. Learning makes information useful, which is why it sits across everything we do. The ability to learn in the classroom, at home, and everywhere in between has never been more important than today. And when a student has everything they need to learn in a way that works for them, powerful things can happen. When the fundamental supports and tools of education are provided, possibilities open up and potential can be fulfilled. It is our driving goal to help educators transform teaching and learning for all, and that means providing a platform for each school to have the time, tools, and the materials they need to create impactful teaching and learning environments that are right for every individual student. So, to empower these educators with the means to create innovative and impactful teaching environments to drive outcomes for every student, no matter who they are, where they are learning from, or what their individual goals might be, that is Google for Education. We provide students and teachers with personalized learning environments through our Chromebook devices, an engaging learning experience through Google Workspace for Education, and elevating class content with a host of resources and programs to support teaching and learning. And in 2021, we have more options and SKUs across products than ever before, whether it be always connected Chromebooks with LTE built in or the new 4 editions of Workspace to give educators and students even more choice. So in Chromebooks, we would like to ensure that every teacher and learner has what they need to thrive with secure, simple, and powerful devices that update automatically with the latest features and security. All you have to do is to match your device to your needs, like the always connected Chromebook with built-in LTE for those learning or teaching away from Wi-Fi. Schools can also choose to upgrade Chrome OS with a Chrome Education Upgrade to unlock the full capabilities of the Chrome OS, and this would counter rising teacher workloads, free up IT resources, and give educators more time to focus on learning outcomes without compromising security. And finally, Google Workspace for Education. This popular platform for collaboration and communication now comes in 4 editions. And there's the free version, Google Workspace for Education Fundamentals, that any school can use. There's Google Workspace for Education Standard for more security and analytics tools. There's the Teaching and Learning Upgrade for enhanced teaching tools. And our most comprehensive solution yet, Google Workspace for Education Plus. With 150 million classroom users all over the globe, we listen to teacher feedback and learn from schools' experiences in using our products to make them even better. So, are you ready to transform your school or institution? Let me leave you with a short video on learning no matter what. Thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you, Mary. And to share how we can create an accessible, ready-to-use cloud laboratory, here is Mr. Dan Angelo de Guzman, founder and CEO of CloudSweep.
Hi, good day, everybody. My name is Dan Angelo de Guzman, and I'm the founder and CEO of CloudSwift Global Systems. So we provide future-ready skill solutions as well as customized virtual lab solution for higher education customers. So we are present in Asia Pacific region, the Middle East, as well as globally. And here in the Philippines, we're very fortunate to actually partner with one of the largest telco companies in the country, which is EPLDT. So through this event, we partnered with EPLDT, and I would like to show you some quick background on how CloudSwift as a company actually adds value and makes an impact to the higher education sector here in the Philippines. So as you can see here, there are some logos in my back: ArcGIS, Azure, Python, IBM SPSS, Adobe Applications, SolidWorks. So these are a bunch of software applications that are normally used in hands-on labs or virtual lab classes or lab classes and subjects in different universities and institutions. So with these applications, right now, pre-COVID, post-COVID, or during COVID situation, uh, gone are the days that students and learners are actually going to the physical campuses and physical computer lab facilities. So through CloudSwift's lab solution, in partnership with PLDT, we can work with educational institutions and universities to provide anytime, anywhere automated virtual lab environments across multiple disciplines of engineering, architecture, computer science, IT, arts and design, graphics, business statistics, and more. So I would like to show you a quick demo of how it works. So this is where the magic happens. Let me quickly share my screen. So in this screen, you would be able to see a very quick background of how to launch a fully functional lab environment as a student. So let's say, for example, I'm at the comfort of my home, and then all I have to do is to access a lab session through the browser. In my university, I need to access an Adobe Lab application because I'm doing my design class or my design lab. So with one click of a button, as you can see through the browser, it gorgeously and beautifully opens up a fully functional lab environment with all the tools and applications that I would need in order for me to access Adobe Creative Cloud and other Adobe applications for my design lab class. Now, going back to the other applications, let's say, for example, I'm now going ahead with my another lab subject or lab session, which is related to geographical information systems or engineering or sustainability, environmental engineering, for example. Let's say I'm a civil engineering student now. So I want to access my ArcGIS lab subject. So with one click of a button, again, as you can see here through the browser, it beautifully renders a fully functional hands-on lab environment with all the tools and applications that I would need in order for me to launch an ArcGIS software application. As you can see, it's all here. And if as a student, if I would like to follow some lab steps and lab instructions, in here, in the lab activities panel, I would be able to see all of these lab exercises and steps that I can just follow. So all of these are just teasers and demo on how it actually works. And as you can see, when you actually just done with what you're doing, click and exit, confirm. As you can see, it automatically shuts down. It's amazing, isn't it? So as I go back and stop sharing here, I'd like to thank everyone for actually sparing their 2-3 minutes of your time to listen on what ClassIF does and how our product works and how we work with education institutions to help them with their digital transformation. So thank you for listening, and thank you EPLDT and other partners, Microsoft, as well as education sectors and customers that are there. If you have any questions, just check out our website, classif.com, or look for your account managers in EPLDT. You can schedule a meeting, you can book a session in order for you to learn further. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dan. Technology does not equal a learning outcome. It's a tool that enables learning outcomes. That is why PLDT partners with the leading global education enablement solution. And here to share the ASUS solution to help cultivate the minds of the new denizens of the digital world, the country manager of ASUS, George Su.
Technology is rapidly changing the way students learn and the way educators teach in the 21st century. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, many schools are resorting to remote learning, which means teachers and students of all ages are relying on digital platforms for learning. There are three most observed trends and challenges which parents, students, educators, education institutions are facing nowadays. First, the remote learning tools and equipments to support online classes and materials now and for the several school years to come. Second, cloud collaborative learning technologies for students and teachers with least distraction from learn from home setup. Third is the cybersecurity threats and remote IT management to support educators and students remotely and instantly. ASUS provides the education solutions to overcome these challenges, harness trends, and empower students, educators, and learning institutions. ASUS Windows 10 laptops such as the new education laptop, ASUS BR1100, are affordable and easy to manage, ideal for schools who are on a minimum budget. With technology that transforms classroom time, that allow educators to focus on delivering personalized learning experiences that help enable better learning outcomes. The versatile and flippable ASUS BR1100 offers a touchscreen feature, making module creation, document signing, and interactive applications easier for teachers. Creating an online classroom is an important step in moving to a remote learning environment. ASUS VR1100 features innovative ASUS AI noise cancelling technology that employs machine learning in order to isolate unwanted noise from human speech. On the other hand, for school owners who are always on meeting, the ExpertBook B9 is ideal for you. School owners who want to work the whole day will be amazed with the ExpertBook B9's up to 24 hours of battery life. Light-weighted feature weighing less than 1 kilogram, Harman Kardon speakers, and AI noise cancelling features best for online meetings and communications anytime, anywhere. It also features the Wi-Fi 6 for stable connection during online conferences or general assemblies with stakeholders, operations team, and etc. Google Chromebook, such as the ASUS C436, has access to G Suite that provides productivity apps to keep students and teachers connected and empower them to collaborate and communicate. Flexible form factors can be clamshell, flip, or tablet, and with touchscreen feature. Learning materials can be accessed on any device from anywhere, online or offline. Simplify deploying, giving IT administrators access to device policies, advanced security, and automatic updates ensures that school data is always safe and secure. Aside from the products that ASUS offers, we are also one in supporting and evaluating the education in the country. We are excited to announce the ASUS Education Program that will help schools in the modernization of their IT facilities and for educators and students to enhance their teaching and learning processes, respectively. Partner schools will enjoy development funds, computer laboratory decoration, teacher and student learning seminars, among others. To learn more about the ASUS product offerings and ASUS Education Program, scan this QR code on your screen or send us an email for an online meeting and inquiries. Thank you. Back to you, John.
Thank you, George. To share the Logitech vision for the future of education that allows student and teacher to collaborate without distraction, Logitech Philippines Country Lead, Charlene Suarez.
Thank you, John, for that wonderful introduction. My name is Charlene Suarez Javier and I'm from Logitech Philippines, and today I want to share with you how Logitech envisions the future of education. Today, many of our conversations with educational institutions center around how Logitech can support different delivery instructional models, remote, hybrid, and the traditional in-classroom. But before we go to any of the slides, let me share with you what are the obstacles the educators are facing nowadays. First is the integrated webcam dilemma, which really does not promote an eye-to-eye conversation with the students. Second is the overhead material to share, which sometimes misses an angle of your material. Third is there's too much material to share, and we know that the integrated webcams field of view does not really give justice to the materials the teacher is presenting. And fourth is the lecture capture and blended learning, because some teachers still use their cell phones to do recording nowadays. Now from Logitech, we wanted to have an optimized teaching and learning experience. Most importantly, we want to empower and engage learning. Now, teachers can achieve a face-to-face interaction at an eye level using an external webcam. For external webcams, look for an external webcam that can mount on a tripod or a portable stand. Now, here's our best-selling webcam, the Logitech Brio. It can record video up to 4K resolution, and you look great in any type of lighting environment because of its bright light features. Also, I want to share with you this free software called Logitech Capture. Logitech Capture lets you create high-quality content videos. It enables you to record from multiple sources, can create mobile-friendly vertical videos, and stream live to YouTube. Now, when it comes to sharing material overhead, consider investing in a camera stand or a flexible tripod stand like this ones. Additionally, when teaching in a noisy environment, look for a headset with an active noise cancellation and an advanced noise cancelling microphone. Now, I wanted to introduce to you Logitech Zone Wireless, which is what I'm currently using right now. Logitech Zone Wireless creates a quiet and dedicated space to prevent distractions. On to the classroom. We all know that nowadays, anytime, anywhere, teachers can have a classroom. And I'd like to introduce Logitech Meetup, which is one of our most popular solutions when it comes to education. This is an all-in-one device designed to enhance collaboration and productivity. Gone are the days when you would need a remote control to start or join a video call. With the device called Logitech Tap, you can easily tap or touch this device to start or join the call. And it's compatible with Microsoft and Google. Lastly, to improve the meeting room experience while a content is being shared via a whiteboard, Microsoft features camera content whiteboard transparency, which we'd like to call Magic Whiteboard. And now remote participants can see the writings in the whiteboard while the room participants is writing it. Therefore, it intelligently enables users to include a traditional whiteboard onto a Teams call. Now, that's a pretty cool technology, and it just demonstrates how Logitech and Microsoft, how Logitech is working with Microsoft. Now, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Charlene. These enabling education solutions that connect students to educators are made possible by the most reliable PLDT Beyond Fiber, Smart Bro, Smart Bizload, and our specially curated solution, Smart GigaStudy, that helps you access your e-learning solution in the digital world. As we continue to use the digital space, we also need to protect ourselves from malicious threats. According to Miss Josephine Baker, you must get an education, you must go to the school, you must learn to protect yourself, and you must learn to protect yourself with a pen, not with gun. PLDT protects you from your digital space to your physical campus. Our ePLDT cybersecurity gives you smart insight, security, efficient management, incident analysis, and realistic simulations that gives you proactive response to threat. In our ePLDT data privacy consulting ensures your school compliance with the law by employing guidance in the process and managing personal data. In here to give a quick talk, our ePLDT data privacy expert consultant, Francis Valencia.
Thanks, John, for the intro. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having me. Now, 2020 was a year where educational organizations were forced to adopt very unorthodox methods. I'm sure some students felt this was a dream come true, and by the same token, some teachers are already dreading migrating to online teaching versus traditional classroom type that worked in the past. But as humans, we were able to adapt, and adapt well, we did. So the topic I'd like to share this afternoon is on data privacy. Because we've migrated our operations online, there's been a growing need and concern towards how our data is managed, whether it's our students, our manpower, or that at the office. Now, I gathered from the team that our audience today is very familiar with the law, but is very concerned about how to implement data privacy. So fortunately, the NPC, the National Privacy Commission, in June 2020, along with 40 data protection officers from various schools, have set standard policies and measures for schools to adopt, be able to prevent, minimize, and address breaches should they happen. This was due to a noticeable increase in breaches from January to June, mainly due to hacked portals, phishing attacks, system glitches, stolen laptops, and of course, human error. Now, these policies were updated in February of this year, where they introduced social media policies, because of the importance of consent, screenshotting that happens, backgrounds, and other elements involved with online learning. Now, the benefits of having our partners present before I did, privacy laws also. And that's very important. Now, it's good to get the solution that provide a fit in your organization. But it doesn't mean that when you acquire them, you're already compliant with the Data Privacy Act. No, it doesn't work that way. The law still requires school personnel and policies to operationalize data privacy. And what does that mean? This is what the NPC calls privacy in day-to-day operations, meaning the things that you do, the simple tasks that you do, all have privacy in mind. This is with the eventual aim of reaching what you call a privacy ecosystem. So how do you do this? You complete the National Privacy Commission's 5 pillars. Your privacy impact assessment, your manual, your awareness campaigns for your employees, and using technology that can ultimately address your physical, technical, and organizational security measures. So that's it for me. Thank you for your time. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Francis. And to help you plan ahead for the safe reopening of school by allowing you to manage queue detection, temperature check, face mask detection, facial recognition, people counting, and social distancing, we partner with the global leader, Height Vision. And to make it safer for parents, guardians, and guests who will visit your campus, we created the Smart Queuing Solution time-free to make it easy to book online, on the ground, or hybrid. This allows safe and convenience management of campus visitor. Convenience. That is one of the primary drivers for innovation. PLDT helped to innovate as per John Falfree. The most important thing that school can do is not to use technology and the curriculum more, but to use it more effectively. Like PayMaya, that effectively gives parents and learners the power to manage their allowance, fast and secure. And School Administrator to disburse cash to educators teaching from home. And all of these solutions are now being powered by our innovative 5G solution to help you experience the power you never thought possible to create smarter campus, AR/VR, IoT, and a high-resolution online class for a more immersive learning experience. You are now more than ever ready to educate, enable, protect, and innovate to power your schools, teachers, and students with the best solutions. Preparing you to the education journey to the next normal. Whether you are learning from home, bridging student to educators, and redefining learning experience. In preparing you to return to school, that redefines the health, safety, and security. PLDT goes beyond access. With our PLDT Smart Foundation, we also help democratize education since 2016. We have already launched hundreds of School in a Bag to far-flung communities because we want to give every student a chance to experience quality education anytime and anywhere. No learners will be left behind. You are our partner in delivering better education. With the leading PLDT education solution, we make the learning experience unbreakable. Allow me to close this session with a quote from George Couros. Technology will not replace great teacher, but the best technology in the hands of great teacher can be transformational. This is John Combaliser from EPLDT. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Magsisimula ng klase mo, naka-on na ba yung laptop? Kabisado mo naman kung paano gamitin yan, di ba? Tsaka, natatandaan mo naman lahat ng tinuro sa inyo ng orientation. Ewan ko ba? Ibang-iba na talaga yung sitwasyon ng mga schools ngayon. Kaya ang daming adjustments, Ang daming bagong iisipin. Tapos tiwala na lang talaga na lahat makakasabay. Wag lang sana nakulang ka pala sa gamit. Yung password mo, baka makalimutan mo ah. Sinulat ko na dyan. Sinetapan na rin kita ng folders para meron ka sa assignments, quizzes, tsaka exams. Iwahiwalay na yon para hindi ka malito. Tapos, pag nagka-problema sa pag-access ng learning modules mo, i-text mo ako. Tatawag ako para tulungan ka. Oh, ready ka na ba?
Don't worry, anak. I got this. Good morning, children.
Good morning, teacher.
Thank you, John. What a great presentation. I hope that that segment was very informative for all of you as it was for me. A huge thank you to our partners as well from ASUS, CloudSwift, Logitech, Microsoft, and Google. I hope you were able to sign up in the website using the QR codes during the product presentation to get a chance to win our exciting raffle prizes. And I'm sure that all of you have been inspired by the stories and insights shared by our speakers. And we'd like to do a shout out to our PACU member schools that are watching us right now, and a shout out also to our friends from Pampanga, Mayap at Gapanapon, Mabalacat Institute, Inc. And we're also live in Zamboanga. Hello, Universidad de Zamboanga, from our University of Perpetual Help in Las Piñas. And good afternoon to UPHSD Calamba and from Notre Christi Academy of the Philippines. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And now that you, our viewers, have developed a deeper understanding of the latest innovations and digital solutions to transform your businesses, it's time for us to entertain questions. President of PACU, Dr. Anthony Tamayo. Welcome, sir. PLDT Enterprise Assistant Vice President and Corporate Relationship Management Head for Academe and FMCG, Mr. Dick Perez. EPLDT Digital Strategist and IT Business Consulting, Mr. Francis Valencia. Again, to all our viewers, do engage with us by submitting your questions in the link from the chat box and get a chance to win our awesome prizes. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Corinne.
All right. To kick this Q&A, we'll start off the question for Dr. Tamayo. The question is, how did the schools emerge anew from the crisis and remain resilient?
Thank you for that question. I think, as the saying goes, there's always strength in numbers. So our schools have remained resilient by staying together. Let me just give us an example. PACU, during the start of the pandemic, our schools and school leaders always met weekly to share our issues, our concerns, and our challenges, our solutions. We shared the collective wisdom of our group in order to survive the pandemic. So we, some schools shared how they did things, and then other schools shared their issues, and then other schools also shared their solutions. So that's what they did.
And then through that collective knowledge, we were able to survive the pandemic. Others also, of course, quickly shifted from in-class learning to online learning or to distance learning. And with that, we also considered, again, the safety and security of both our employees and our students. That's how we were able to survive. And of course, with prayers, we were able to um, navigate the pandemic pretty much. And of course, without the help of our different stakeholders, such as also PLDT and the other IT suppliers to help us adjust from face-to-face or in-class learning to immediately to online learning, we were able to cope with the crisis. So I think those were essentially the important success factors in surviving anew this pandemic.
Indeed. Thank you, Dr. Tamayo. Last year was very, very busy year for you as you also transitioned to your new role as president of PACU, right?
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay. There is a follow-up question, Dr. Tamayo, all the way from UP Cebu. This is, how can blended learning be beneficial with limited access to technology? I think the question is, there are still areas that are still remains unconnected. So how can blended learning be beneficial to those with limited access to technology?
Well, of course, as much as possible, we'd like everyone to be connected online. But as even Chairman De Vera has said, flexible learning is the norm. So it really depends on the situation in the ground. But blended learning, even in a limited way, would still be helpful because at least the teacher and the students would still be connected, although in a limited way. Some could do first asynchronous sessions, at the same time synchronous sessions. So there would be live classes, so that where, like what we're doing now, it's synchronous. And then there would also be asynchronous classes where a student will direct its pace of learning. And of course, we could also provide in advance the learning packets that would be available to students. And then there's also what we call like a drive-through concept, wherein we can give the modules in advance or in USB or in a disk format. So that in a way would help mitigate the problems of difficult connectivity. So we break it down simply into a synchronous mode, which covers essentially your learning packets or having the lessons in advance, and also through synchronous style, which is what we're doing now, and through using also other software which uses lower bandwidth. And maybe another solution to that lower bandwidth is PLDT could probably, or the telcos could probably whitelist more software, so the consumption of or the price of internet would not be of internet usage or Wi-Fi would not be that high.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tamayo, and thank you, Paul Esplanada of UP Cebu, for that question. This question is for Mr. Dick Perez of PLDT Enterprise. The pandemic forced the schools to tighten the belts by instituting measures to reduce capital and operating expenses. While it is important for schools to start their journey towards digital campus, in so doing, however, it will not be realistic at this point, since investing in technology will require a huge amount of investment. Is there a way for schools to go digital without incurring huge capital outlay? Dick.
All right. Thank you, Corinne, and thank you for raising that question. Well, it's true that digitization requires investment. It need not be an immediate outpour of capital, though. It's not going to be an overnight transformation. The schools must carefully choose a partner who will help and guide them on what to do, where to start, and how to divide the transformation in phases. Most of the schools have already invested on their core technology, which is the learning management system. Some schools, in a way, have an existing ERP or enterprise resource planning, be it outsourced or homegrown. Implementation can be done in phases. Rationalizing the backend systems will require caution on what system to get. It must be able to communicate and collaborate with each other, and it must have the capability and flexibility to integrate and interoperate with other peripheral systems like the LMS, HR for attendance monitoring, finance, and of course, library, and even the cafeteria and other departments. Now, to alleviate the barrier to entry, which in this case is the huge capital investment, PLDT, together with its partners, created solutions that are OPEX-based, meaning you do not need a large capital outlay to begin your digital transformation. And again, this can be done in phases. For further details, we can sit down with you and you can reach out to us and or your assigned relationship managers. So, we can hopefully share our insights on how to chart a roadmap for your digital transformation. I hope I answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. So what Dick is saying is basically prioritization, right? So you can actually do it in phases, in batches, so depending on the need, on the priorities. So there's so many ways to skin the cat, so to speak. Now, this question is coming from St. Paul, Quezon City, from Christina Price. And this is for Francis Valencia. Francis, can you cite specific software applications that can be used to ensure compliance with DPA of 2012?
Thanks for the question and a rainy afternoon to everyone. Now, I'd like to address that question alluding to Sir Dick's, angle on taking things in phases. Now, it's good that I don't want to name specific solutions because it really depends on how each company or each organization creates its tech roadmap. I'd like to address first. I'd like to quote Dr. Danny Cheng. He's the Data Protection Officer of the De La Salle University. In a recently concluded Privacy Awareness Week 2021 of the National Privacy Commission, he said that school investments in cybersecurity and information security are not usually at the same level as teaching and research investments. And yet schools are prime spots for hackers due to how clean their data is and how easy identity fraud can be. So with that being said, specific cybersecurity tools, etc., that can address data privacy and all of this, it really depends where you are. You can get the best of technologies right away, but sometimes there's an angle of digital maturity, of migration, unlearning, and relearning. So I think the partners that we have on board this afternoon is a great place to start when considering specific technologies like this. There are studies that say that schools and organizations and public and private organizations are slowly migrating to cloud. E-learning modules these days need to be blended learning and need proper webcams and software and all of that to address all of this. And our partners at Google and Microsoft are great office tools. They have great office tools in their Office 365 and Google Suite to address anything and everything that you need with regard to that. So I hope I was able to address the question.
I think so. Thank you, Francis, and thank you, Miss Christina Price from St. Paul, Quezon City, for that question. There's a lot of questions for our batch one, and we're still on batch one, but I can't help but comment that Francis here has a very radio announcer voice. Don't you think so? He sounds very good. Yeah, so I think he will probably replace me in the next industry forum. So I will reach out to you. Now, the last question, Dr. Tomaya, this last question is for you. How can we promote research collaboration between telcos and education institutions to find new ways in delivering teaching and learning processes?
Okay. Just to give first as a backdrop, the former dean of the Harvard Business School, Nitin Motra, said that investments in technology is flexible learning is here to stay, and distance learning is here to stay, and it would be really investments in technology. And I believe research in new ways of learning and teaching would be also important, and the telcos would be able to provide a key role in promoting research collaboration, particularly on those topics. And then another avenue would probably be whether it be the telcos or the IT companies, for example, to invest in laboratories, for example, or continue to invest in laboratories. So, for example, there could be a smart, quote unquote, smart laboratory for example, for our ECE programs or for our IT programs. That could be another way to invest in schools and in research. And then another way would be research on strengthening industry academic linkages, wherein smart ePLDT or our different product vendors here could invest in what skill sets and mindsets are really needed in the industry today. So when the schools are able to produce graduates, they could at least already be near hire rather. And of course, any research agenda that the telcos may have, they could collaborate with schools for what other research topics they may have. And maybe in the end, aside from, of course, also the donation funding would also a big help in to schools for carrying out their research agenda. That would also be a big help if it would come from the telcos as a form of corporate social responsibility.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tamayo. Awesome, awesome. I mean, there's so many things that we can actually do as a team. I mean, this afternoon's e-learning session with all our partners can actually be the start of bigger things, no? Where we can collaborate. So we look forward to more collaboration with Paku and the rest of our panelists. Thank you. And now for this batch, we move on to our next batch of speakers and panelists. Let's welcome back on screen our product experts and technology partners, PLDT Enterprise Assistant Vice President and Head of Education, FMCG, SMBiz, and Enterprise Strategic Solutions, John Combaliser. ASUS Country Manager, Systems Business Group, Mr. George Su, and CloudSwift founder and CEO Dan Angelo de Guzman. The Logitech country lead, Ms. Charlene Suarez Javier. And we'd like to welcome back Google Education lead in the Philippines, Mary Ann Manzano. And finally, Public Sector Director for Microsoft, Ms. Joanna Rodriguez. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a mix of female and men in this segment. So just as a reminder for all our viewers, keep your questions coming and submit them in the link from the chat box and get a chance to win prizes from our partners from ASUS, CloudSwift, Logitech, Google, and Microsoft. Hello and good afternoon again, everyone.
Good
The
afternoon,
first
Corinne.
question.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so there's several questions. I will prioritize. I'll shoot the first question over to John Combali, sir. Okay, this first question is for you, John. With all the challenges of online learning that the schools are facing right now, how can PLDT help to further improve and sustain the school delivery of quality education using technology with their tight budget?
Yeah, thank you, Corinne. Actually, PLDT has always been in the forefront of helping our educational partner deliver quality education. So last year alone, we helped more than 300 learning institutions using Microsoft Teams and also Google Workplace for education, which help our teachers deliver blended learning effectively. We also created the Smart Giga Study Plan, which provide the most affordable data plan package for every student and teacher to access online learning platform and tools. And there's also another question from similar to this from the chat box from Ronald Joseph Kagiwin of BCI Marikina. So they subscribe to Microsoft Teams bundle. Thank you so much, BCI Marikina. And their question is also how EPLDT can continue to offer beyond the pandemic. Yes, we will continue to offer this beyond the pandemic. This is our commitment to our educational partner. There's also a question that what type of LMS that they should be using. Actually, you should use an LMS that provides your student and teacher a more holistic approach and also that focus on the learning and innovation. And also, aside from this, even before the pandemic, since 2016, our PLDT and Smart Foundation provide learning devices and solutions to far-flung areas with our School in a Bag community project. It actually contains laptop, tablet, packet Wi-Fi, and learning modules. And because we understand that schools today are facing tight budget, this year we are giving educational institution partners more ways to bring out the best in every learners with our affordable solution. We would like to thank our partner with global leaders like Microsoft, Google, CloudShift, Asus, and Logitech that help us to bring you educational package that can helping you deliver high quality learning experience anytime and anywhere. Thank you so much, Corinne.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Our next question, because we have a lot of questions, I'll just keep it coming. We have a question from International School Manila, Ronel Tamaris, and Nord Angilia. Angilia, I hope I pronounce it correctly. And this is for Joanna of Microsoft. What are the most effective and in-demand tools for e-learning today?
Thanks for the question. Of course, I'm going to share with you some of the tools that Microsoft has. No, so Office 365 and Teams. It's really a platform that allows students to work anytime, anywhere, and in their whatever flexibility of device that they have. But I think from an e-learning perspective, especially for students, I want to talk about Minecraft Education Edition because this is something that students enjoy. It's a game-based platform and it builds on STEM skills and promotes your creativity, critical thinking, problem-solving abilities at the same time. So I think that that's something that students and education institutions should really consider as it's engaging for students and it builds soft skills outside of the formal training and curriculum that education institutions provide.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. Yes, Minecraft, I hear that. I hear that very often. Now, the next question is from all the way from Universidad de Zamboanga from Miss Yolene Medina. Thank you for this question. And this question is for Dan de Guzman of Cloud Swift. What is the minimum hardware requirement for us to use the Cloud Swift? Dan?
Hi, good afternoon. So thanks for the question. And hi to you, Universidad de Zamboanga. So the good thing about this is that with the Cloud Swift platform, there's no hardware minimum commitment because all you need to have is an internet connection and a web browser because everything is already being accessed automated through the browser as a platform. So with the power of Cloud cloud technologies such as Microsoft Azure and the like. That's why platforms like this are possible to be of reach and accessible anytime, anywhere. So there's no problem or limitations on any hardware devices. So in fact, the demo that I showed earlier on my session, accessing customized virtual lab environments, all the students have to have is an internet connection and a web browser. Even at the slowest and the lowest specification of local hardware that they have, they would be able to access those virtual lab environments with highly powered applications that they need in their lab classes. Even tablets, Google Chromebooks, even a mobile phone, in fact, can be used for that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Our next question is coming all the way from Zamboanga, this time to Baguio, University of Baguio. Our viewer from University of Baguio, Miss Ruby Bukat, and this is for George. There are some learning management systems that require certain specs of computers and or mobile devices. And what initiative does ASUS Philippines have to make gadgets or devices affordable for students and teachers?
Hi, thank you for the questions all the way from Baguio. At the moment, I'm sitting in central Taiwan, and I'm very happy to enjoy with all of you to discuss what we can do to improve in education sector amid the pandemic. From ASUS, since the beginning of the pandemic, ASUS tried to come out different approach and different solutions in order to help in terms of availability of IT devices for the students and educators. Several endeavors we have tried in last year. For example, we come out a dedicated education solutions guide that categorized from mainstream to more premium sectors of different devices across Windows and Chrome devices in the form factor of laptops, the flip, and as well as the clamshell and desktop AIO. And that actually create a lot of resonance and a good response from our students and teachers around the world, and also particularly in the Philippines. And this year, actually, on top of those efforts, ASUS worked with our education ecosystem partners for the like of Microsoft in the Philippines, Google in the Philippines, and also particularly ePLDT reliable partners to provide a more sustainable and a relationship efforts to different education sectors. So one of the key message on top of the device we offer to make it affordable is we come out a sustainable ASUS education program. We named it ASUS Education Program because we don't want to build a transactional relationship with all the education institutes, schools, colleges. We want to help each partner schools to have a sustainable learning environment so that they can help educators and students. So the benefit of this is actually we provide the school development program funds, and that including the annual development fund. Also that we will try to decorate the computer lab of the school. On top of that, we will also provide the learning seminars from our education partners such as Microsoft and Google. From ASUS itself, we also try to provide technology update, let it be virtual or in physical when it is available. And then we will try to select teachers and the students for the Excellence Award. So overall, we try to provide not only the affordable and the wide variety of devices, but we also provide a sustainable education program that we can build a long-term relationship together. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, George. I'm sure they will reach out to you for more information about ASUS education. And this time, coming from Pat's College, from Mr. Jonathan De La Peña, this question is for Mary Ann Manzano. What can institutions do to curb online cheating? There are softwares like Freeze Camera, Check Study, Socratic app, and texting. Tolerating the cheating culture fosters dishonesty, incompetency in operations and businesses. Corruption is a result from the culture of cheating through justification and reasoning. What can you say, Miss Mary Ann?
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the question from Pats. It is culture at the end of the day, and I've always told this to everybody that uses technology. It takes a teacher. It always takes a teacher to curb that sort of behavior because that is a behavior thing. But the good thing about it is we do have technology that could help curb that sort of behavior. For example, in Google Classroom, we now have originality reports, and originality reports is actually a plagiarism checker. And a plagiarism checker would mean that you can check, a student can check how much of their work is plagiarized, especially if they've been copying it from the web. So if they run their originality reports in their Google Classroom, they can see what the percentage is. So it will tell you 40%, 50% is plagiarized. And what a student can do is, firstly, they should at least start taking a look at authenticity and rephrasing the work so that it becomes authentic and original. The other thing is, of course, to cite sources. And that is a behavior that needs to be taught as early as possible. And we also have a program called Be Internet Awesome in Google, and Be Internet Awesome allows for teaching young kids from the age usually of third grade and onwards. These are kids that are already using technology a lot. And we teach them how to be smart and kind and brave and safe online. And this is a program that is free for teachers to run in their schools. The digital curriculum is free, and you can just go to Be Internet Awesome and just Google it, and you'll be able to get the curriculum online. I hope that answers
Awesome.
the question. Yeah.
It's awesome. Thank you, Mary Ann. That's awesome. I like the name. Okay, this last question for this batch. There's several questions, but we need to wrap up soon. But this last question is for Ms. Charlene Javier of Logitech, and this one is coming from Southville International College from Mr. Mark Salibio. Do you have student-friendly options for Logitech webcams similar to the pricing of A4 Tech? Charlene?
Okay, thank you for that question, Miss Corinne, and thank you for the one who sent the question.
Mark.
Well, for the pricing, we actually can discuss about it offline. But I would like to emphasize that you get what you pay for. You get for the quality, the warranty. Especially now that we would really like to elevate the experience of both teachers and students. So, this is an investment, and you will be using it in the next, I'm not sure, maybe 2 to 3 years. So maybe investing in a good and a quality headset and webcam would be the best possible option for now.
Okay, thank you, Charlene. And thank you so much to our panelists. Unfortunately, we really have to wrap up our panel discussion. If you have any further questions, you may still key them in the form via the link provided in the chat box or in the description down below. And now to officially close this program, let's welcome PLDT Enterprise Senior Manager and Business Head for Academe and FMCG, Mr. Mark Rayo, for his short message.
Thank you, Ms. Corinne, for that very to our distinguished speakers, what an amazing lineup. And we are grateful for your sponsorship, which injected a lot of fun and excitement at this event. We hope to continue working with you in our future fora. And of course, to all our guests here who have brought your visionary approach to an ever-changing educational landscape for all the possibilities of technology enabling learning. It also creates challenges we will face as we embrace the change necessary to its potential. With the rapid increase of devices and applications, we also need to find new and creative ways as we bridge digital divide in schools and home across the country. The different cutting-edge solutions presented today by our STEM speakers have to a significant degree promoted innovative and creative opportunities, made education available to all by addressing the constraint of traditional models of learning, echoed limitless availability of images and video content, virtual reality, interactive sessions, and many more, making the digital learning method more engrossing and smooth for students to understand, and ensure transformational use of technology. As a game changer, it brings online learners equity of access outside school. We at PLDT are committed and working collaboratively with each of you to strengthen the health and improve opportunities as we build brighter futures for every student in this country. We are looking forward to seeing you all again in our future events. Stay safe and God bless you. Bye.
Thank you, Mark. Now, with everything that has been shared, I hope you're all inspired and motivated to start this school year with the right learning tools and solutions as we continue distance learning. Thank you once again to our distinguished panelists and, of course, to our viewers. Thank you for joining and tuning in today's program. PLDT Enterprise will be reaching out to the lucky winners for details on how to claim your prize. If you have any more questions or on any of the solutions that were presented today, just send them to the details seen on your screen and simply scan the QR code or visit the website. Once again, I'm Corinne Zablan, and this has been Industry Online Forum for eLearning by PLDT Enterprise, SMART, and ePLDT, together with our partners, Paku, ASUS, CloudSwift, Logitech, Google, and Microsoft. Stay safe, everyone.